Welcome to the Life of a Marketer podcast. Again, today we have as a guest Scott Aaron. Scott is the expert of experts on LinkedIn. So I'm excited to interview and speak with him today. So I'm going to let Scott introduce himself and take it away. Scott, tell us about who you are and what you do.
Thanks, Jared. Grateful and honored to be here. So my name is Scott Aaron from Marlton, New Jersey, just about 30 minutes outside of Philadelphia. And what I do is I run a company with my wife that provides various services from content repurposing to content posting to helping businesses grow and scale through creating assets, whether they're digital or virtual, such as podcasts, books, courses, memberships. And then I would say underneath all of that, me personally, I am an expert coach and consultant teaching business owners, consultants, CMOs, marketing professionals, entrepreneurs, how to leverage LinkedIn to build their business, how to build their personal brand, and how to use it in a leveraged and simplistic way to grow and scale.
All right. So, today, Scott, I got to ask you questions about that because everybody always is trying to figure out how to use LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I have LinkedIn profile and I utilize it in certain ways. For you, what are give me three keys today to leveraging your LinkedIn profile to get more business as a marketer?
So I would say three specific things. Number one is starting with your profile. It's basically the placeholder of your business. So the way that you want to look at a LinkedIn profile is not like a resume. It's not monster.com. The way that you want to look at your LinkedIn profile is like the homepage of your website. So when people visit the homepage of a website, what is it that you want them to see? Is there an opt-in or a lead magnet that pops up? Is there a clear journey that the visitor of that website is going on? Is your messaging clear? Are you letting that person know that's visiting your website what it is that you do, how you do it, who you serve, and what results they can get? Those same concept and principles should be adapted and brought over to your LinkedIn profile. So there's a lot of SEO involved with a LinkedIn profile, much like a website. So that's search engine optimization. I'm sure everyone that's listening knows what that is. But you have to understand is that LinkedIn is a giant search engine, much like Google, Yahoo, Bing. You want your profile to populate when a search is done, obviously on those external search engines, but within LinkedIn itself. So making sure that you're using keywords that your ideal client, customer, consumer would put into that search bar where your profile would populate is so essential, because we're always looking for other ways of how to get visibility and growth, and leveraging your LinkedIn profile from the aspect and point of view of a homepage to a website will give you that extra visibility. So having keywords in your headline, having keywords mentioned in your about section, having those same keywords in the experience section of your profile, but also not negating the subsections on your LinkedIn profile. The featured content section where you can list your public website, maybe a Calendly link, maybe your podcast, maybe a way to connect with you offline, or maybe you want to feature a recent post or a newsletter that you have. And then also taking advantage of the business criteria or your business journey, accolades, things that you have done to make you stand out. So volunteer experience, licenses and certifications, honors and awards, your skills, your recommendations, all of those things accumulate into a well-rounded LinkedIn profile. It is going to provide you not only visibility, but is also going to provide you more reach for that ideal client, customer, consumer, or whatever the end result that you're looking for is. The second thing coupled with that is building your ideal network. So I talk about this all the time, that you don't want to spray and pray. It's very easy to connect with people on LinkedIn, but you want to be very clear and specific of who you're connecting with. So there's two types of connections that I always recommend people to have on LinkedIn. Number one are your ideal client, customers, and consumers. So if you're a marketing professional, if you're a CMO, if you're a digital marketer, you should know who the end consumer is. You should know who you best serve. And what you want to do is you want to search and connect with those individuals from either a professional title or an industry standpoint. So you want to niche down, and you don't want to do that spray and pray methodology where you're inviting connections into your network that have no relation to what you do. There's no synergy, there's no connection point. Thus, there's a very low barrier of entry for a potential opportunity. You want to raise that level of opportunity by targeting those people. The second type of connection is what I call a power partner, much like myself and Jared. We're both business podcasters, and that's what we're doing today. He's going to be guesting on my podcast. I'm on his podcast. We are mutually exclusive in the sense of what we do, but we overlap in the sense of certain things that we teach so we can support our networks. So if you're a CMO, if you're a digital marketing agency, if you're a marketing professional, think about who are the power players that you could connect with on LinkedIn from an industry or professional standpoint where a collaboration like this can be done. Or maybe you could ask for introductions or send referrals or just have referral partnerships. So you want to make sure that every connection that you have in your network is of vital importance, either from that client acquisition standpoint or that networking standpoint. And I would say the third key and the third most important thing is the content that you create. So LinkedIn is a place for people not only to network and connect, but it's a place for you to showcase your skill set, your educational information, and the information that you provide that makes you an industry expert and to stand out in a crowded market. So if you can leverage that aspect of LinkedIn by creating 3 pieces of value-added content each and every week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, maybe a video on Monday, a poll question on Wednesday for market research, and a longer form post, article, or newsletter edition, that is going to bring you into a certain light on LinkedIn where people are automatically going to classify you as an expert, because true experts, true marketing professionals are the ones that are giving things away for free. Remember, to create more leverage in your business, to create more sales, to create more transactions, you're looking to build the know, like, and trust. No one buys anything from anyone or invests in any company that they don't know, like, and trust. So you can't expect to cast your rod out there and just start reeling fish in. You have to build a rapport. You have to build the trust. And one of the best ways to do that is through the pieces of value-added content that you create through an educational video, through a market research poll, and through a long, deep-rooted educational and informative post, article, or newsletter. So in a nutshell, if someone was to say, what are the 3 things I should focus on, or what are the 3 important keys to LinkedIn to getting started, those would be my top 3.
Oh, what an awesome, great piece of information that you just gave us. Very, succinct. I appreciate that a lot.
Thank you.
Changing gears just a little bit. What's the best thing for you about being in the marketing industry?
Well, I would say it's fun. And I go back to something that Warren Buffett talks about. And he said, he says to treat business and treat what you do like a game, see what your high score is, see how many points you can get. And what I mean by that is when people try to chase the money in what they're doing, it's never going to happen. And especially in marketing, in branding, it is a crowded marketplace out there. There's a lot of marketing agencies. There's a ton of digital marketers. There's a ton of fractional CMOs. There's a lot of regular CMOs that are full-time with companies. But you have to understand is, what can you do different in respect to your zone of genius from a marketing perspective, right? So times are always changing. There's always new methodologies. AI is huge right now. It's all people are talking about is artificial intelligence and this, that, or the other. But what can you do to stay ahead of the trends? What can you do? What I say is, how can you be a salmon in a world of fish? So what are your competitors doing? What are other people in your space doing? Are they doing the same monotonous things on whatever platforms they're on? And what can you do from understanding what your competition is doing and how you can do it differently? And this is how, I really started to separate myself differently from other people. I saw so many people from a marketing standpoint, promoting whatever they're doing in the same old ways, right? They have the same old, try to, hook, line, and sinker, post on social media. I said, but what can I do that's different? And a great core principle that I always come back to, Jared, is you have to give in order to get. And I learned this from a very early age. When I used to do personal training, I was in the health and wellness industry for 18 years. What I did was I always gave a free 30-minute training session to someone. So if someone joined the gym, I said, listen, let me give you a free session, show you the ropes of the gym, tell me what you want to focus on, and I'll give you a great workout. And I would give them a workout. And at the end of that, guess what? They would say, how can I continue working out with you? So it's the same added value perspective, especially as a marketing professional. It's allowing you to shine your light and allowing you to stand out in that crowd of what's going on social media. So for the marketing professionals that are listening to this, think about what makes you different, what makes you stand out. What are some things that you know more about than others that you can start giving that information out for free without asking for anything back in return, building that value where it's going to lower that drawbridge for the potential client, customer, consumer, or company to say, you know what? I love what Jared's doing. I need to reach out to him to see how he's working with companies like mine.
Awesome. All right. This question may be a little bit, maybe we're going to modify it. We normally ask, what sort of advice do you offer to those in our marketing industry right now? You just answered that question with the last answer. But maybe I could say is, what sort of advice do you offer to those that are in the marketing industry? Let's talk about LinkedIn specifically. Talk about the 3 keys. But give us a secret. What's something secret that you can always come across? We talked about the big 3 keys, but what's a detail for your LinkedIn, for a LinkedIn profile, or for utilizing LinkedIn? Let me ask you this. What's the secret to getting more people to connect?
Well, I would say one thing, and it's being a genuine networker. So it's sliding away from being spammy and salesy, because I think anyone that's spent any time on LinkedIn at some point in their life got some sort of 18-paragraph long drunkalog verbal vomit message of someone trying to sell them and pitch them. And, hey, you want to learn how to earn an extra $30,000 a month and I can get you 112 leads per day and, all these sales calls. Like, again, that's just going to push someone away. It's not going to bring them closer to you. So I would say a secret that a lot of people don't know is the more genuine and authentic you are in everything that you do on LinkedIn, from the content that you produce to the message that you send to that new connection, is going to make the experience for you much different, because people can feel the type of person that you are by the way that you message. So my wife and I always talk about something called the smell test. If the message you're about to send stinks, don't send it. So the other thing is, don't send a message to anyone that you're connected to on LinkedIn that you yourself wouldn't respond back to. So before you hit send, think about, okay, this message I'm about to send, I'm going to read it. And if someone sent that to me, would I respond back to that? And if the answer is a no, go back to the drawing board and reword it in a way that's genuine, authentic, warm, and connectable, where you yourself would respond to it. So that secret is being yourself, being genuine, being authentic, and never looking to sell or pitch, looking to connect, to build meaningful and truthful connections on LinkedIn.
Very good. Awesome. All right. So great information so far. So asking this question, what other successful people in marketing like yourself would you like to acknowledge that should be on the podcast?
I mean, selfishly, I'm going to plug her anyway. My wife, Nancy Evans. She is just brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I mean, she's helped me from a personal level when I was building my personal brand, when she was running my back end of the business, to where we are right now, growing and scaling our company the way that we have now with 12 full-time contractors that are helping us behind the scenes. She just released a book. It's a shameless plug, but she released a book, How to Build Your Personal Brand on Social Media. So it's a great book. People are loving it. and it's based on all of the past skills that she had and has in how to build your personal brand and how to market yourself online. So if there's anyone that I could recommend for you to interview and talk to and have on the show, it would be my wife. You know, I mean,
Hopefully, hope,
we have different perspectives, but you'll love her energy and the
hopefully
knowledge
we
that
get
she
to do
has.
that. Hopefully we get to do that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for that. Uh, that's great. Working with your wife and in your business, that's wonderful. All right, one final question, and then we're going to close. Tell me the oldest technology you remember using.
I would say from I'll break it down into two categories. I'll break it down from a personal standpoint and then from a professional standpoint. So the oldest piece of technology that I remember using as a kid, and I'm really aging myself here, is Atari. I remember when game consoles first came out. I'll be 44 in April. I was born in 1979, so I'm probably the youngest, Gen X. I think it goes to 1980, but the oldest piece of technology I remember is Atari. And even then it seemed like, all you're playing is like the ping pong game where you're hitting the ball back and forth, but it seemed so revolutionary. And then obviously Nintendo and Sega and everything else. From a business standpoint, I remember when the first gym that we opened, it was in 1998. That's when we opened our and took over our first fitness club. And this was like pre-social media, pre-internet, all of those things. But I remember that it was when, AOL had already been out, but when you were able to build a website, and this is when GoDaddy first came out, and we hired a web developer and we actually created our first website. The gym was called Old City Ironworks, and at the time, this is 1998, 1999, we thought we were light years ahead of everybody because we actually had a website where we can send people to. So I would say from a personal standpoint, Atari. From a professional standpoint, when we had our first website built out through GoDaddy back in the day, I would say those are the oldest technology that I remember at this time.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. Very good. Very good. Hey, that's as long as our podcast goes. It's a short podcast. Scott, thanks so much for being on in that very brief amount of time. We got so much good information. I really appreciate everybody. You can catch our podcast on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. We will put it release it on YouTube. So if you're subscribed to our YouTube channel, you'll see it. And we also release it across social media. So we stream it on LinkedIn. We stream it on social media. If you want to follow us, it's best to do it via the YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe to our podcast because we're trying to grow it and reach as many people as possible. Thanks so much. Over and out.